Well, good morning, everybody. It's bright and sunshiny today. This morning, you're going to hear the noise from next door because they're back over on the lot next to mine, leveling it off with some heavy machinery, getting ready to build a house over there. So I can't do anything about the machinery running. But I wanted to show you how I gather my leaves and stuff like that for my compost. You know, when I go to plant or fix a tote to plant in or a bucket. So here we go. First, I got to go out here and get me a bucket. Yeah, but you can't see through the bushes, barely. But they've got a backhoe, I guess is what they call it. I'm not sure. Over here on my next lot. There, you can see it there. But anyway, got to get my bucket here. The ground is still wet. The grass is still wet from all the rain. So I didn't want to get out here too early with everything being so wet. Trying to figure out which one is the best. Probably need to pour. Because you put it in a 5-gallon bucket, it breaks down really fast. And it's great to put in your we'll use this blue bucket. It's just an empty bucket. And I'm going to start right over here with my walking stick kale. See, I got my bucket. I'm just going to cut my leaves off, the bottom ones, the broken or the damaged leaves like that. That goes right in my compost. I mean, they'll fall off after they've been on there for too long and they start turning brown. And it doesn't hurt the plant to cut them off. In fact, it'll do it good because it'll get more nutrition to the rest of the leaves, the good leaves. Let's go on over here to our well, you know, I could work on this garden tower. I'm sorry, I'm gonna make y'all dizzy. I'll have y'all dizzy. But what I'm gonna do is see if there's any bad ones I can cut off of this, which there is. The ones that are all eaten up. If there's worms on them, get the worms off. Don't throw them in the bucket with the worms on them. I mean, a lot of times they'll drown anyway, but I don't like to put them in there with the worms on them. Because I'm not trying to breed worms. I mean, I think most of the time they would probably drown because I'm going to end up with water in it. When I'm going to do too much cutting off, I like to do it with a pair of scissors so I don't damage the rest of the plant. Just give it a good haircut. There was only one or two on them anyway, so. Like this old bean plant can go in there. I can pop something else in that hole. And some of these green beans, they don't like this intense sun, so those plants will die. From the sun. I had an allergic reaction to eating nuts yesterday. I mean, it wasn't a bad reaction, but my airway was getting really irritated and I felt bad, my sinuses. It felt like my chest, my throat, kind of like it does when you start getting bronchitis or something. So I had to double up on Benadryl yesterday afternoon and last night. I feel lots better today. Yeah, that equipment's getting pretty close, so it gets pretty loud. Cutting these bad leaves off also gives the other leaves a chance to grow. And I still don't know what this vine is. The vine is still alive, so I'm going to let it grow. Maybe it'll produce something. I want it to stay over here in this section. I don't want it growing out over here on the grass. This is rutabaga greens here. My plant's finally producing a rutabaga. It's not big enough to do anything with yet. I'm just getting the worst ones off of it because I don't want, because it helps shade the rutabaga itself, the root. Look at that, it's all eaten up. But it's great plant food. It makes really great plant food. If you get the bad leaves off your plant, it gives more nutrition to the rest of the plant and the rutabaga root. Oh goodness, that thing's loud. It sounds like it wants to tear up. Don't see any worms on this. It must have been the grasshoppers that were eating the leaves on that one. We have really bad grasshoppers this year that are eating the plants. Let's go over here to the other side of the garden. Yeah, after this rain we've had, and then that intense heat sets in, that's what is bad on the plants. Because you end up with a steam. A natural steam from your plants and from that water, the rainwater soaked in the ground. And that will cook your plants. See what we got over here. Get this so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to cut some of the leaves off of the bad ones, that is. The yellow leaves, you know, like that. Like that little one. It makes great compost, great plant food for your plants. See, like that one I didn't even have to cut off. But this is like walking stick kale. It almost grows like a tree. And you can break them off at the top when they get too tall and make it root. You know, you can root the top and it'll make another plant for you. See what's on the other side. I've got a little tomato plant growing in there. Some of my tomato plants, you know, they got brown places on them. Sometimes, you know, it don't do any good to cut them off. But they still make good fertilizer and compost. Makes the plant look better too. And you can't get every bit of it off, but you know, the worst part of it you can. Oh, I'm sweating already, y'all. It's hot already. Whew. Move that up a little bit. Some of these plants get pretty long and lanky. Sometimes I like to leave them on there. It helps shade the good part of the plant, especially if it's in a real sunny location where it gets the most of that hot sun. Some of the dead leaves will actually protect the good ones. But they make great plant food and great compost, so you don't want to throw any of your dead leaves away. You want to keep them. And when you get ready to build your totes or your buckets, you layer your leaves in with it, or either leave them in the bucket till they break down and they go to compost, and use your compost in your bucket or your tote, whatever you're going to plant in. And I'm going to use some of these because I'm going to plant another, I think another tote of sweet potatoes. I've got so many sweet potato slips. I hate, you know, not to plant some more of them. Whew. And I've got a tomato plant coming out. You put a stake there and they come out of the stake and start growing on their own anyway. At least it's a little cooler under this shade cloth for my plants and me. And this one's got blooms on it, so it's going to put out me some more tomatoes. I think it likes it under the shade cloth. Get over here so you can see the other one. I've already got a bucket full. Yeah, but I've been so busy I haven't had time to do this. And the plants, even though they're living, you know, they're okay considering this heat. They have been looking kind of shabby with the dead spots on them. Just from the heat. I mean, your plants like heat, but they don't like oven degree temperatures, you know. This helps with the airflow through your plant too, to get the dead parts cut off. To get over here on the other side. There, that looks a little better already. You do your squash plants the same way. You know what? This tomato plant here is just, it's entwined with this other one over here. Kind of hard to get to some of them. Whew. Hot. Hot already. Let's move this so you might get a better view. We'll go over here and cut some off of these. These plants. Like I said, it's not going to hurt the plants. It'll just help the new leaves grow better. I should have been out here harvesting some of these to eat, to cook, but I just haven't done that either. It's almost like they want you to harvest the leaves so they can put out new ones. Gave that turnip a haircut. Now, I think the grasshoppers have been eating these because I haven't seen worms on these, actually. It's grasshoppers. I mean, you can get leaves off of any of your plants. Sunflowers, but I don't want to get the seed. I don't mind the leaves, but not the seed. But you can see, I mean, just no more plants than I've cut. I've already got a bucket full. That bucket, that blue bucket is full. I keep squishing it down. It's been so hot that plastic on that handle is dried out and stuff. get me something and make my makeshift handle on this bucket, I guess. But that's what that intense heat does here. So you know it's going to affect your plants. Maybe when they put out new leaves, I'll be more vigilant in harvesting my leaves to eat rather than leave them out here. And let the bugs get on them. I mean, usually when you put these leaves in water and they break down, it's going to drown any worm that's on there. But I don't like to purposely put a bunch of leaves with worms on them in my compost bucket. But I don't really think it matters. But it'll grow a new crop of leaves, and they'll be pretty leaves that I can eat on this kale. Plus, it's going to give my plants fertilizer and food from the compost. Got some over here I need to trim up. They out in the sun all the time. Get some of these spinach leaves that are dried. I get my camera over here. not really in a good place. It's growing up out of the bottom of the bucket, so it can't grow straight. I really should have put it in a different spot. But I think this is one that come up voluntarily. And I just left it there. Little Lucky's laying down here in the shade. He got up when I moved. This is that melon plant. Early dew melon, or whichever one it was. Trimmed this up not too long ago. And it started to put out new leaves. I got jalapenos here. I don't know if they're the Hungarian ones or what, but they got blue or purple flowers, blooms, like this right here. I don't know if you can see them. Maybe you can see. Right there, there's kind of purple flowers, blooms that puts out the peppers. And then I got one that's white. Whoop. I got one that's white. They're growing together. So I got two different pepper plants there. I think one of them's one of the Hungarian hot peppers, and the other one might be just a jalapeno, I'm not sure. Over here and see if I can cut some off of these. This is my purple walking stick kale. And I think it's the grasshoppers that have been eating these because there's just no worms on them. I don't see any worms at all. So I'll just give them a haircut and let them put out new leaves. Don't look too bad, but they're wilting down from this hot sun already. But they'll perk back up this evening. That pepper plant's going to have some peppers on it pretty soon. And you know what? Since I'm out here, I'm going to make sure my watermelons are getting enough water. I'm going to dump all these buckets in one, and I'm going to go out and put extra water on my watermelons. Compost tea. I guess you can see the watermelon out there. I'm not sure. Yeah. Got a blister on my thumb from my scissors already. And I got some right here I need to cut or trim. Whew. Sometimes if they're very wilted, they'll just come right off. You don't even have to cut them. Just pull them sideways. But this is how you do it. I got these here I'm gonna work with right this minute. Grasshopper. Grasshoppers everywhere. Ooh, I need to pull some of my onions out. They're bulbing up really pretty. Like that one, it needed to come out. If I don't, it's going to start rotting. We're not supposed to get any more rain though, so I think the onions will be all right. But I wanted to show you how big my red onion is getting that I left in there. You know, we found it back. I mean, look at the size of it already. Can't tell what I'm showing you, but there's the onion right there. And there's a white one. They're all getting pretty big, and I wanted to wait till they got about as big as I thought they were going to get before I pull them. Because, you know, I don't want to pull them early. Not much point in planting something if you pull it so early it can't reach its maturity. Lay my onion right there. Cut it off a little bit till I get back over there on the other side. These turnip leaves are even good. I mean, any of your plant leaves are good to harvest for your compost. You don't want to get this onion covered up. Lay it right there for right now. And I've been meaning to stick a pepper plant or something in this little pot over here, and I keep forgetting about it. But there's my little onion. I mean, it's not so little. It's a small onion, medium size. But that's a healthy onion right there. So the next time I need an onion to cook something, I'll have an onion. Back over on this side, see what we can find to trim up. A tomato plant up here. And really, you don't even have to do this because they'll dry up like this and eventually just fall off on the ground anyway. But if you want to save your leaves, you know, your dried leaves and stuff for your compost, this is what to do. Just go around and cut it off of your plant. I'm going to leave my onion right there so I don't lose it in my bucket. See where else. Most of this over here is tomato plants. We have a swan here. Yep, I got a blister right there on my thumb, right there, that just busted from my scissor. It hurts. But anyway, this is the way you do it. Oops. I'm gonna tear my tripod up one of these days. But now this is what I do with it. If I'm not right ready to plant with it, I cram it down in this bucket so I can get the lid on it. And it is packed full. I put it over here and I put just enough water in it to where when I put the lid on it, it causes a steam. Doesn't take much. Put the lid on it. And in 2 days' time, that's going to be wilted down and turned almost to compost in this heat. Because it's so hot. You know, I mean, just look how much my compost pile has dropped since we've had all this heat. See how much it's dropped? So I can start adding, I've already been adding food scraps up there, but I need to start adding other scraps. And I've been digging out under the bottom of it to put in my buckets and stuff. But anyway, that's the way you do it, guys. I've got that bucket full, so I'm gonna go in the house, cool off, take a break, and then I'll find something else to do later. I'm not gonna cut the rest of it off. I'm gonna leave it on the bushes until I get ready for the compost, or I have a bucket to put it in, to turn to compost, because I don't want to waste any of my leaves. Whew, listen to that over there. You can probably see it through the bushes. I don't know if you can see it or not. Yeah, but they're going to be working next door for quite a while now till they get that house built and finished. And you know, it takes a pretty good while to level the ground, put your foundation down, build your house, put your privacy fence up, get all that stuff done. So I'm gonna be listening to noise for quite a while, which it don't bother me. But I own the lot, this wooded lot here between me, or this one, and then they have the one adjoining it. But I still have my lot for privacy, as I call it, my privacy fence that I don't have to maintain. So anyway, like I said, I'm gonna go in the house, cool off. I'm sweating like crazy, my shirt's wet. Got to get something cool to drink, maybe even find me some breakfast, because I did drink a cup of coffee when I first got up, but I haven't drunk any, haven't eaten anything. And I talked to my friend in Lake Jackson, and he came through the hurricane fine. You know, here during Harvey, his house flooded. He had 3 feet of water on his ground floor. He had to move upstairs until they rescued him. So he had to gut out the bottom floor, the garage, everything, and redo the walls, everything in there, the cabinets. And he had just recently got through with all that because he was doing all the work himself. And then this other hurricane hits, and he's just had his fingers crossed, you know, that he doesn't get flooded again, because I don't think he could handle trying to go in there and rip it out for another time. So, but anyway, all we got was a little bit of rain from it, and I knew that's all we'd get. We don't usually get hurricanes up here. We get a little bit of the rain from the outskirts of it, and that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna go in the house, maybe fix me another cup of coffee, get me something to eat, and I'll see you on my next one. Love y'all. Bye now.